So while I was at the food bank, I started doing some contracting work that was related to my degree, which was very, very nice for a change. And it was around that time that I started utilizing different resources for military spouses in terms of finding employment. And I was having a great internal struggle at the time because it was then that I realized there's a difference between finding a job and finding fulfilling employment. And I decided that I was going to be a little picky in what I wanted. And so I started working with a nonprofit helping out military spouses. And I don't even remember the exact chain of events there, but I ended up working for them. And so I was helping other military spouses with their issues in finding employment and advocating for them on many levels. But all throughout that time, I was still, even though I was advocating for them, I was still feeling the same struggles that they were feeling. And I was balancing some contract work at the food bank and then the military spouse advocating for employment. And it was then that I realized that it's okay to reinvent yourself. And that was my biggest hurdle that I had to get over, was I had to stop comparing myself to what my peers in college were doing. I had to stop comparing myself to who I was before I married the military, because that was a completely different time. And all of the people that I was comparing myself to don't have that constraint of what the military sometimes brings. While I was working for the food bank doing the contract work, a position opened up, and it was in the development side of the office where I had absolutely no experience working in. And I was very fortunate because I had been working there for over a year every day. And so they came to me and said, "Taylor, you'd be perfect for this position. We would like you to possibly think about coming over onto our side of the house." And my first initial reaction was, it's not going to happen. I'm not going to take this job. I'm very, very content. The work that I was doing with a nonprofit, I was working from home virtually as an independent contractor. I could make my own hours. I could work anywhere I wanted to. I decided ultimately that I was at a point in my life where I needed to kind of lean in, so to speak, and take that next step. And so I decided to resign from the military spouse nonprofit and go over to working for another brick and mortar nonprofit full-time. And it was definitely outside of my comfort zone. Like I said, it was nothing that I had ever envisioned myself doing, but it gave me a different scope, and that I can utilize the skills that I went to college for and developed there and turn them into something completely different.